Rich Rebuilds is making Tesla videos again. Tesla!
Happy belated New Year. Now, I'm not going to get sentimental because I have no feelings left, but if you're rejoining from last week, welcome back, and I hope you enjoyed the Sherp because we had an awesome time making that video. If you haven't seen it, make sure you check it out because it's the baddest off-road vehicle on the planet. Well, next to the Sherp Arc and a Ripsaw, but I didn't mention those because I can't afford them. Turns out I can't afford this one either, but thankfully the Sherp Shepherd hooked me up. Now, I've been told it's an off-road overpriced skid steer that floats, but you know what? I like my overpriced off-road skid steer that floats because the way it works is fascinating and the simple engineering behind it makes it even better. That and it's an off-road skid steer that floats, which is actually kind of cool when you think about it. So normally I'd start the episode reading the comments from people that know more than I do about a project they've never attempted, but this time I'm not going to do that. Instead of hating, I wanted to thank the Tesla fanboys because they've actually helped a friend of mine tremendously. This is my buddy Scott. Scott owns a Model 3 and Scott needs some help getting back in shape. I told him there's a Facebook group called Model 3 Owners Club. If you want to get in shape, you have to join this group. And I gave him very specific instructions. I said, if someone posts one of the following: 1, what should they name their car? 2, tells everyone they just bought a Tesla along with saying how old they are. Or 3, says, I'll never go back to gas again. He has to do 1 push-up, and wouldn't you know it, after 24 short hours, this is what he looks like now. Thank you, Model 3 Owners Club, for saving my friend's life. However, he does get pulled over a lot more now. Now, I want to make Tesla owners more at ease, and I like recycling, and the YouTube channel Plain Rock 124 destroyed the very Tesla in this video when he was kicking the steering column stalks. It was a pretty sad moment because I knew that these broken pieces would never get used again, so I wanted to change that. I took both pieces and I fabricated new mounts for them to slide into each other, and I made what I call the Tesla fidget toy. It has buttons you can press and things you can turn if you need help focusing on more important things than complaining about projects that have nothing to do with you. But it has one last feel-good feature to help you guys relax. So to recap, we got a Tesla donor car that was in a flood, and I rebuilt a few other regular Teslas before, but it decided to get a little bit boring. I decided to go with a different power plant, one that you can modify along with a manufacturer that doesn't have a crazy ex-girlfriend attachment to whatever it is that you do. So we wanted to swap in a V8 engine, which the eBay Motors app actually came in handy for this. We were able to find a vendor on the eBay Motors app named Lee C. Parts, who isn't too far away from us. So we actually went to go pick it up in person. The 6.2-liter V8 engine out of a 2010 Camaro SS was ours. Then we watched the Camaro get crushed in preparation for recycling. Then Steven and I picked up the other donor car that we needed several parts from, which we still have to get into the garage. Now, in this episode, we're going to introduce a new character for this particular series, a kind of get people used to the who's who of the V8 Tesla swap. So for those that may not know, I am Rich, the HNIC, with the skill set of, well, you've seen my skill set. You should already know Steven, my right-hand man and the head mullet in charge. Like Troy McClure, you might remember him from the Rat Rod Pizza Car Electric Mini Cooper and designing and fabricating the Cyber Quad. He makes sure the show has some diversity because, you know, we don't want the show to get too urban or it might get canceled. Lena is nowhere to be found as usual. I think she was last seen playing basketball in way better lighting than any video we've ever shot. And this is Joshua. Now, Joshua is a very important person to this build because let's be real here. Steven and I are not certified fabricators. You've seen me weld, and I am not at the point where I'm going to weld something that I'll be going 200 miles an hour in. So this is Joshua, the fabricator. Now, Joshua emailed me 3 years ago and said we should build something together. Now, I have no idea who Joshua is, but we chatted back and forth and said a V8 Tesla is the craziest thing that we can do. Now, just for some backstory, my original idea was to body swap an Impala SS and put the Tesla shell on top of it. You see, the Impala SS has a pretty close wheelbase to a Tesla Model S, but at the end of the day, it was scrapped because it'd be a Tesla shell on top of a GM product that was made 20 years ago. So Joshua will be the main fabricator and also the scapegoat. If things go wrong or if someone wants to complain about how the welds look, we can all blame Joshua collectively, but he's still learning. I figured a guy still learning how to weld. So welcome, Joshua. He's not much of a talker, but he does have a flip phone, so that's kind of cool.
Oh. Nice! All set!
All right, finally, after 96 hours of getting this thing off, we're on there. And then now we have the fun part of getting the Jetta to drag the Tesla to the workplace. So this is not real, OSHA, so don't come after us. Plus, you don't know where we are, so we're fine. Okay, here comes the magic. God, I hope this works. I mean, it should, right?
I don't see why I don't know.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Stuff, baby. This is the beat up car that took us literally hours to pull into the garage, and here she is. Once it came in, we did some quote unquote processing to it. So I'm going to show you guys a quick time lapse of what we did in the background to get the car ready to the point where it's at now. Boom! Here we are. Really long time since, you know, we've shown people what it's like to work on a Tesla. So we're just gonna slowly start peeling stuff back to give you a casual reminder of what things were like on the Rich Rebuilds channel many years ago. Frame. It's good for rigidity as well, for like side-to-side movement, and like keeps the dash frame intact. If you look on both sides, there's actually a guiding pin that goes in here and bolts that mount in 1, 2, 3, 4 different places. This almost forms like a strengthening structure at the front end of the car. It also holds the steering column as well. It has all the electronics that kind of, sorry, not electronics, but a lot of the wiring harness that connect to various components of the car. And this wiring harness is actually separate from other wiring harnesses in the car. This is one of like 5 or 6. There's actually a lot in this car. On the bottom section, right here on the floor, that's where the transmission tunnel is gonna go. This car was never designed to have that space. But that is not a problem for me to figure out. That is a problem for Joshua to figure out. He's still learning. It's been some time. He just learned to weld, I think, like 2 or 3 weeks ago or so. So
Just about done.
is the seats. That'll give us the correct measurements for Joshua to start working on the transmission tunnel.
Yeah, there's not much space.
There's not much room in there now. This thing is like it's not a very good vacuum. It's only a 6-gallon. I think it has like 1.1 horsepower. Okay, so we have the mock-up foam LS engine inside of the front of the Tesla Model S, and believe it or not, it actually fits very well. There's tons of room up there. It's like someone at Tesla knew someone was going to end up LS swapping it. And also the Tesla rear subframe was cut to accommodate the Camaro differential. Yes, the Camaro diff is going in there. A lot of people are going to complain about not putting a 9-inch rear end in there, but you could do it however you want when you build your own LS Tesla. Now the floorboards have been cut in the donor car to accommodate the transmission. Kind of weird seeing a transmission and clutch pedal in there. This is going to give us the room we need for the drive shaft. Now here's the issue. A lot of material was cut out, and the Tesla battery pack is a structural part of the car. The battery shell in this car was removed to save weight, so we need a way to reinforce the bottom of the vehicle so it doesn't twist apart when it's at the track. Now this is where the other donor car comes in. I'm gonna head up there and cut the reinforcements out of that car to help build the transmission tunnel and to strengthen the chassis of the car. And this is to the hundreds of people asking why we didn't do it the easy way and cut the transmission tunnel out of the Camaro that was crushed and put it in the Tesla. Well, the Camaro is steel and the Tesla's aluminum. No further questions, please. So I have to get these 2 floor panels right here, and I have to get the third one in the back, and I also have to start cutting out the front of the dashboard. I don't know how thick this is. This actually looks pretty thick. I'm thinking that's just kind of boxed. But what I want to do is I want to start cutting around it to get as thin as we can on the material. So I might actually start cutting up around here because it gets really, really thick right there. In terms of this back, that shouldn't be terrible to do. I might cut around it here and around it on the other side to pull that out. But either way, the middle's going to be interesting. So I'm going to start to get to work, set the tripod up so you can watch me go to work. Right now, I think my battery is upset. Oh, wow. That used half of that. And this is the high output battery too. So that's good to know. That was really only a few minutes of cutting. And I really only got, you know, this one piece out. So that tells me I should probably switch to the Sawzall. Before I put in some more work cutting that metal, I just want to apologize for the RS7 right now. And I am so sorry about this. Look at this. My goodness, what have I done? I am so sorry. I'm waiting on some title paperwork from the previous owner. So it's been sitting here for a while. It's just sad. I just got the car done, just got the car back, and it's just like, oh God, what am I doing, man? I'm actually gonna have an update on this car, I think, next week. But man, I am sorry about the way I left this car. Look at all this bird crap on it. Look at this. I saved this car from the person that had it before, and here I am doing the same damn thing that the previous owner did. I'm ashamed and I am sorry. I am sorry. I am sorry. This is the rear cross member that I cut out. This is the middle section. Front section, same thing. And if you look here, for you Tesla owners, I don't know what this is actually the vent hole that brings the air conditioning to the back of the car. So it goes from the HVAC in the front. There's a plastic tube that goes through here, and it vents out the back in that center console. So that is that. And then I don't have the front piece because the batteries died on me. But I mean, I brought some random screws. How strong this guy is.
Strong, man.
Look at the whole engine block in there. How heavy is that thing? The whole comment section, it's never gonna fit. Oh my gosh, I'm so worried. But this is a dry fit. Right now we have it dry fitted, and I know all the engineers out there are like, oh, you cut the strut tower bar. But we had to cut that to get it in, and we're actually gonna put something else that's in there to kind of increase the rigidity of the car. The only thing is, it might have to be a bolt-in solution, because when we have to take the engine out for maintenance, we're probably gonna have to bolt something on top of there to keep the car as rigid as we can. Now for the steering rack, this is the original Tesla steering rack right here, and then there was a pretty large electric motor attached to that, but we had to remove it because it would bump the bottom of the harmonic balancer for the engine. So we had to remove that, and we actually got a 2010 Camaro SS steering rack off eBay Motors, and we're going to be test fitting that, because this steering rack, that's the electric one, it has that giant motor in the front. We switched to a hydraulic rack because it's a lot slimmer and a lot easier to integrate, because this electric motor, it receives CAN signals from the car, and we're not going to get that fancy. It's going to look for CAN signals from the Model S to determine when to give it power, steering angle, and things like that. So we're going to switch to a hydraulic one, much simpler, easier to put in, lighter, and it'll clear the front of the motor where the harmonic balancer is. You see that? I'm not going to trip this. Do you like V8? This is for Camaro. This is a Camaro steering rack. But I was saying earlier, look how much slimmer this one is, as opposed to having that large
boy.
Yeah, that large piece of mass there. So, so we're gonna try this out. This is a lot more slimline, a lot more streamlined, and it should be a lot easier to integrate into the car as opposed to having the Tesla one in there, which doesn't really make much sense for our application. So, yeah, that's gonna be going in, and then we'll go with the hydraulic rack. Look at that. Yeah, perfect. So that's an idea. I mean, I feel like this rack, yeah, this alone weighs almost as much as that rack. That's how crazy. Guys, there's still lots of work to be done, but we're making excellent progress. In the next installment of the V8 Tesla swap, it's going to be all about fabrication. We're going to see just what Joshua learned so far. Also, there's tons of things to figure out. Positioning of the dash frame in relation to the shift knob, the axles, the drive shaft, all that good stuff. We're happy to take you along for the ride. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button because that 1,000,000 mark is coming soon. And if you can't wait a whole week to the next episode, then check me out on Instagram at Richie B Kid, where more shenanigans occur. I will see you all next week with an update on the RS7.
What is that?
What? What's what?
A noise? Oh, how silly. Is that your...
Sorry about that.